So authentication is one of those things we as developers don't really enjoy doing. And it even gets worse if you are trying to roll yours from scratch. But luckily for us, there's a solution that handles all the heavy lifting, and that's where Clerk comes in. So in this video, I'll show you how to integrate Clerk into your Astro project and get authentication up and running in no time. Let's dive right in. So in case if you don't know what Clerk is basically a user management platform that gives you a complete suite of embeddable UIs, flexible APIs, and a user or admin dashboard to authenticate and manage your users. So they give you stuff like sign in button, a form. Let me scroll down so I'll show you. So all these are be given to you out of the box. You don't have to create them from scratch. And the good thing is that you can also customize it to fit your taste. And they also have a very generous free tier, so you don't have to put in your credit card or stuff like that. So head over to Clerk.com. And by the way, this video is not sponsored by them. I use Clerk a lot for most of my applications. So if you are on Clerk.com and it's your first time, it should tell you to sign up. But since I'm already signed in, I will go to my dashboard. Alright, it's directing me to this page because I think I have lots of projects, but if it's your first time, you see a option to create a new application. So just click on create new application, then give your application a name. So I'll call mine Clerk Astro Auth. And Clerk has tons of sign-in options. The default ones is the Google and the email address. You can see they are enabled, so I can disable them and leave them. And they also have a phone number, username, Facebook, Apple. So you can just go through them and choose whatever one that fits your needs. So once you are done, just scroll down and click on create application. Now it's telling us to set up Clerk with the framework of our choice, and they have some popular frameworks we all know about, but in this video we'll be using Astro. So I will click on Astro, then I will just follow the set of instructions. But before I copy this command to install the Clerk Astro SDK, I'll quickly go to my VS Code, and I have a folder open called integrate Clerk Astro. So I will suggest you do that as well. You can name the folder anything you want to, and I'm using VS Code, but you can use whatever code editor of your choice. So I'll click on command and tilde to open my terminal, and I want to install Astro first. So we'll say npm create Astro at latest, then I'll use this period sign to create it on a folder that is already opened. So we'll go with the basic minimal starter. We install dependencies. We don't want to initialize the GitHub repo. So the project is initializing and my network is not that fast, so I'll come back once it's done initializing. Alright, everything has been installed, so I can clear this, and let's make sure everything is working by starting our server. So I'll say npm run dev. So I'll copy this port right here and I'll paste it here. Alright, so this is the boilerplate code that Astro gives to you by default, which means everything is up and running. So I'll go back and copy this command right here and open a new terminal, and I'll paste in the command. Alright, that has been installed. So the next step is to add these API keys to an env file. So I'll copy this and I'll go back to our code, and on the root folder I'll create a .env file and paste in what we've copied. So this should be secret. By the time you're watching this video, I might have taken down this application, so just keep in mind you shouldn't share this with anybody. Then the next step is to configure Clerk in our Astro project itself, and to do that we need to install an SSR adapter. So the one that is being used here is the Node.js one, but let me just go to this link. And as you can see, we have different type of adapters you can choose from, but we'll just go what is on the documentation, and I'll just click on node and copy this command, paste in that command right here. So we'll say yes, I'll say yes again. All right, so now we'll head back and we'll close this out. So I'll quickly go to my Astro config file right here, and the Node.js has been imported for us. So what we'll just do is to copy the Clerk command and paste it here, and also, you know what, I'll just copy everything that is here and paste it right here and save. So we can go back. The next step is to add this Clerk middleware file to our application, and basically the Clerk middleware grants you access to user authentication states throughout your application. So with this middleware.ts file, you can easily protect some endpoints so that if users are not authenticated, they can't be able to access that particular page. So I'll copy this and I will go to the source directory and create the middleware.cs and paste it right here and save. Right now it's not doing anything. We're just importing this Clerk middleware and just evoking it right here. So we can go back, and I think that's all. So we just have to control which of the parts is using it. So what I will do is I'll expand this and I will copy everything here. Let me do this again. I'll go back to Astro Basics and I will go to, let me see. Okay, everything is done on the welcome component. So I'll quickly go to that welcome component and I will get rid of everything, so including this one as well as everything here, and I'll change this ID to class and I'll paste in what we copied. Okay, if I go back to the docs, you can see that I can just copy all these as well and paste it right here. So all these are the components that we now have access to because we installed the Clerk SDK. So you can see there's a signed out component. So if we are signed out, we'll see this sign in button, and we'll click on the sign in button, a modal will pop up. If I remove this modal, it's going to just open on a page. Then if I'm signed in, there's a user button that is given to us. So all these are not stored locally. You see it in a minute because it takes some time, because all these components are being fetched in real time. So I will save this, and if I go back to a project and refresh, for some reason this didn't open. So let me check our terminal and make sure it's up and running. Okay, so let's check that again. Still the same. So we stop and start it again. Say npm run dev. All right, so we can see the sign in button that is being given to us by Clerk. So let me just try and put it in the center. So say style, and I think this should be height 100 vh. This will be center, and when items will be center. So let's see. Okay, so this is in the middle now. You can see that we now have this sign in button, and if I click on it, we get this nice looking modal right here. So we didn't have to create all this from scratch. As you can see, this is on development mode. So once you are done, you would actually want to set up auth and just do some little configurations to get it working on production. So I'll hit continue with Google. All right, so we're now signed in, and you can see we have a user button, which is this right here. So if I click on the user button, you see I have a drop down to manage accounts. So I can add more email addresses. I can also remove my connected account. I can change my profile picture if I want to. And there's also a security tab right here where I can delete my account, set password, and those kind of stuff. So you can already see how useful it is. And again, like I said, you can customize most of all this stuff. So for instance, if you want a proper drop down for yourself, so by clicking on this, you don't want to see this default one, you can also set that up as well. So this is what is happening on the front end. So if we go back to our dashboard now, I would like to continue with the Astro guide, but so as you can see now, we have an overview of our entire application. So the total users is just one, and you can see the email right here and the date and time at which they signed up. And if I sign out and sign in again, I will get more information right here. And we have some tabs that you can also explore. Then as well, if I go to users, I should see the list of all the users that have signed into my applications right here. And you can search, you can also sort by email as signed in created, and you can also create a custom user directly. So I'll leave you to play around with this dashboard, and I'm looking for a way to get back to that doc. So let me try and open this again. Okay, all right, so we selected Astro. So now we can continue with the Astro guide. So the documentation is really straightforward, I'm not going to lie. So if you know how to read very well, you won't find issues implementing any feature that you want. So I will quickly touch just a few of them, and I'll leave you to check out the rest. So the first one is the Clerk middleware. I already talked about what the Clerk middleware does, and this was where we ended up with. But I want to set a protected, but I want to now set up a protected route based on our authentication status. So you can see right here, you can protect routes by checking either or both the following: when user is signed in or out, or user has required role or permission. Most of the cases you would use this first one. So for this first one, what you have to just do is that I'll copy this command, and I will go back to our code, go to middleware.ts, and paste that right in. And let's just say we have, because we are using dashboard now, but I will leave this from here. I don't want to change anything. So I'll create a dashboard page, say dashboard.astro. I'll quickly say so welcome to your dashboard. So if I save this now, let me just go back to our file. Since I'm signed in, I can easily go to /dashboard, and I should see the text right here. So welcome to the dashboard. So now what I want to do is that I don't want an unauthenticated users to have access to that dashboard. So if I sign out now, so before I access the dashboard, let me just revert back to where we was. I'll say Ctrl Z, or instead I'll say Ctrl Y. I'll just quickly paste this initial one we had. So now if I try to access the dashboard when I'm not signed in, you can see that the dashboard page loads, which is what we don't want. So to fix that, you just need to, I think I should just close this out. So you just need to copy this right here, and I'll paste it. And with just this alone, without adding any custom logic, if I now try to access the dashboard, watch what is going to happen. You can now see that it's taking us to this weird URL telling us to sign in because of the middleware checks that we add here. So if the user is not signed in, then redirect them to the sign in page, which is this right here. But most of the times you want to take the user to a login page. So I'll show you how you can do that. So I'll go back and inside this part, so I'll leave this and say, instead of using this redirect to sign up, I will just say return response dot redirect, and we'll add a new URL, and it's going to point to a login page that we're going to create in a minute. Then we're also going to say set it to the contest URL, and also add a status code of 302, which basically indicates a temporary URL. So I'll get rid of this redirect to sign in. We don't need this anymore. Now we just have to create a login page. So I'll say login to Astro. And for this login page, I will just go to the welcome, and let me just copy some stuff right here. So I will say section, paste this right here, and copy this and also place this right here. Okay, cool. So we won't be needing all this anymore. So I'll just leave this, and I can just say this will be an H2. It says log in here. So I don't know why this is giving an error, but let's test it out though. So I will try and go to the dashboard now, and it's now taking us to the login page that says login here. So if you don't want to, if you just want to see the form directly instead of a sign in button, so you can look for that particular component. I think it's sign in. So let me try sign. So I'll try sign in. Let me get rid of this one and save. So if I check now, I should get the sign in form. Yeah, cool. So you can choose to also add this. Then I'll quickly just continue with Google again and sign in again with my email address. All right, so everything is working fine, and since I'm signed in now, I can now access the dashboard page. All right, so one final thing I want to talk about is how to have access to some of the user properties. So what Astro is that you can do that through client side, through the server side, and also the client side. So I'll just go to the I'll go to local, click locals right here, and you can see that it says through Astro locals, Clerk's auth and current users objects can be accessed between middleware and pages. So you can basically have access to the current users information from the server side. So let me quickly copy this right here, and I will paste this here, and I'll also console log out the user and the user. So if I check my terminal now, I should have access to user information. So let me try and refresh my browser again. And I guess the reason why we're not seeing that is because we are doing it on the login page and we're currently on the main page. So I'll just copy this, cut it out, and go to the main page, and I'll just paste it right here. Okay, so let's try that again. So let me refresh it. Okay, so if I open my terminal now, okay, yeah. So you can see you have access to the current user's data on the server side only. So if I check my client side, you can see all those data are not showing. If you want it to be on your client side, that's when you use this client side helpers. And the first time I saw this, I was like, what is really the use case? Because you can just use one that will just handle both cases. But from what I understand so far is that this locals is basically used when you want to do a proper authentication. So for instance, if a user is not logged into your application on your e-commerce website and they add products to cart, when they want to check out, you cannot do an internal authentication to check if that user ID exists before actually trying to check out. So that's a possible use case for using this locals. While for the client side, it's just used to access different informations that you want to show on your UI. Alright guys, that's the end of the video. Do well to leave any questions on the comment section, and also let me know if I missed anything. And if you want to sync your Clerk users to your database, you can watch this video that is popping right now.